Good evening, everybody. Todd Boss, my friend, what's going on?
Hello, Sudsy. How are you today?
I'm doing better than you are. I told you, I gave you the heads up that that Little League game would get canceled as soon as the rain goes, but I'm experienced in Little League. It's amazing, right? Like, they just try to push it to the end. It's a monsoon, and they're like, oh, we might play this game. I don't know.
We're experiencing the classic Virginia weather here. It was 90 degrees and sunny yesterday, and right now, as I speak, it is a soaking rain in the upper 50s. 24
Yeah,
hours later.
I mean, that's pretty cool. What's up, Bob Leo? How are you? Thanks for joining us tonight. So Todd, we have a good show, but before we get to that show, pretty important. I saw another racquetballer, 81 years old, Kyle Smith. Kyle passed away yesterday out of Texas. So Kyle, rest in peace. Hopefully you will be hitting a lot of balls up there with some other fellow racquetball players, and of course the great Greg Peck out of Texas. So Kyle. All right, Todd. So we're going to Texas, man. We're going to be, well, I am. You're not going, are you?
I can't go, not this time. Which means that I'm going to be on a day-long Zoom call for our annual board meeting. But that'll be fun to do while I'm trying to actually do work and pay attention.
Yeah, well, I'll get to that because you are a board member. So, you're in the every day, you're basically have a target on your back because you're always, you're responding and you're active online. You're pretty much the only board member I see that's super active. Who am I missing out there that, responds to social media stuff?
Not too many. Not, it could be. I'll say this. I can be pretty argumentative, and I've definitely gone back and forth with some people on social media when I felt like that there was something that was said that was unfair or that was untruthful or wasn't based in reality. Look, the fact of the matter is, and I've said this multiple times. I don't necessarily agree with everything that we do. I think that that we have areas we as a board and as a management group have areas of improvement. 100%. I can't help what happened 20 years ago. And so when I talk to people and they're still irritated about something that happened in 2006, I'm like, I can't help you. I'm trying to be positive. I'm trying to move forward. I'm trying to make the best decisions that we can. We're facing kind of an existential crisis for the national governing body as we roll out of COVID. A good chunk of our funding comes from tournaments and from sponsorship dollars, from membership dollars, and those things are down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, Todd. I mean, we're not going to talk about that right now. That's not the show because it could go on a
and that's no fun.
Direction. But I mean, just speaking for a lot of players, and obviously we speak often, and I hear a lot of the stuff that concerns, and it's not just about the 20 years ago, and I stress that too. I'm like, hey, it's about right now. What can we do to fix it now? And I think that the problems are just as big now as they were 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever. But again, that's not for this conversation. Robert Lyons, how are you? Noel O'Callahan. I had a good guy from Ireland come in this weekend to train. That was pretty awesome. Joe Devaney flew down to Florida for 3 days, Todd. So it was pretty cool to have him. And of course, cool. Brian and Chetta, how are you doing, guys? Happy Monday, guys.
So is Noel the one that just won like the 25th straight Irish championship?
That is correct. Like Noel O'Callahan. I believe it's 25 nationals. Unbelievable. Congratulations. That's just amazing. And hats off to you, my friend. And I will see you soon. So, Todd, I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm going to just show it. I'm not going to say anything. Not saying anything. This is me saying nothing. Okay. And we're moving on. So we're going to talk about a couple things. We're going to talk about the draws. We're going to talk about the U.S. team qualifying. I did just get a text from somebody that said people wonder why it takes so long. I could tell you, man, some people work super hard on putting this draw together. One individually, Jim Heiser, I believe, does all the draws. And, with all the double entries, you got over 500 entrants. And they're playing multiple divisions. So inputting that, I can't even imagine. Todd, you're better with data than I am. So or is it data or data? I think we had this discussion. Which one is it, by the way?
It can be either. I usually say data.
I'm going data because remember
You know,
data in the Goonies?
yeah, my job title is database consultant. It's not database consultant. But I've heard it both ways.
All right. So you got the draws. We're going to talk about that. Scoring system, ranking seeds. Another rule change, the appeals. We'll talk about that real quick. So next week, Todd, the U.S. team qualifier, there's 5 divisions, and we're going to go over the 5 draws. We will be playing 3 out of 5 to 11, win by 2, rally scoring. That's the main change. So that means every single time that ball's put in play, minus a hinder or a replay, there will be a point awarded. You have to win by 2, which is pretty cool. Now, Todd, speaking frankly, because that's what I try to do sometimes, I haven't found a player that actually likes it. So again, here we are reinventing the wheel. Can't find a player. Can't find coaches. Some people just, they ride the line and they say whatever's, I guess, correct. I don't know why we're trying to reinvent the wheel, but we are. So we're going to play by that. And then the other one, which is just bizarre because we move so fast, this is the other main one, are the appeals. So the new rule is if you want to appeal something, you have to immediately stop play and stop and appeal that specific ball. I don't know. Todd, what are your thoughts? I'm playing it. I don't care what the rules are. That's what most of the players and competitors are going to say. Yeah, we may not like it. We think it's silly. It's going to go too quick. Whatever. We have to play it. What do you think as a fan, Todd?
I wonder if they got the idea from this rule from tennis. So in tennis, they have this basically the same thing in tennis, where if they disagree with a call, they immediately stop and then they look at and then they do the replay. And I wonder, I don't know why they decided to do this, but I'll tell you this. The big struggle that I have with the stop immediately is that it goes against everything that we always complain about with players that are begging for avoidables or begging for hinders. Play through, right? Let's say that you see there's a call that you don't like, and so instead of just stopping and throwing your hands up like an 8-year-old, you say, okay, focus, I'm going to play through, and if the rally doesn't finish my way, then I will address with an appeal and ask for a review of that particular call. That's the big problem, is that now you're taking all of that good behavior out of players and telling them to just stop immediately.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, for certain players like myself, I'm not stopping. Unless I don't even know when it's obvious because I'm just going to play, man. And it is what it is. No offense to my opponents. Actually, that's more respect I'm showing you by just playing the point. It's going to be difficult to stop midstream when a ball's coming at you 180 miles per hour, and it's 2 inches off the ground and I got to stop. I don't know. That's going to be a tough one, but again, whatever, Todd, we're going to play it. What is it going to do for the sport? It's not going to put us in the Olympics.
No.
Is it easier? I don't know.
In the grand scheme of things, it's a small change as compared to going to rally scoring and some of the other things that they're trying to do. And we should note, by the way, the rally scoring change from the last tournament that we saw is now we're, instead of going to 15, we're going to 11. So why did they make that change?
You tell me. You're smarter than I am.
Well, they apparently made it because the matches were still too long. One of the salient reasons that the IRF gave for making this change is because they were worried about the time that it took to play these matches in the old conventional scoring. So they thought going to rally would speed the games along. You have basically a max of 29 scoring rallies per game. If you're playing a rally to 15, and even that turned out to be too long. They weren't seeing any shrinkage in the times of the matches. They were still going quote unquote too long, and so now they're going to push it to 11 and see how that goes. I think it's like speed racquetball. It's a race.
Noel said that they played it last week, Todd, in their qualifier. So Noel, if you can, just comment in there. Did it go much quicker? I see that you said there's pretty clear how you feel about it right there. But with that said, Noel, was it much faster? Was it slower or whatever? All right. Yeah. So Todd, let's try to get into this at some point. To the point about the draws, right? Why they're not released and why they're not out there yet. Honestly, you got to think that maybe some people might just see it and not show up. But that's, really,
So look, that's a darned if you do, darned. This is a PG podcast or Facebook Live, so I won't
No,
say
it's
what I was
not.
going to say.
No, it's not. Robert Lyons is watching, and he said we're allowed to say whatever we want.
So it's darned if you do, darned if you don't. If you're a tournament director, do you keep the draws exposed while you're collecting players so that everyone else can see who's entered and make a judgment about whether or not to enter, or do you hide them and then run the risk of people saying, "Oh, they're hiding the draw. They must be, hiding a low turnout or something like that." But it's so because I think we saw that in these draws. We saw some people that dropped out last minute, and we saw some people that entered last minute. And when I say last minute, I mean phone call to the tournament director 5 minutes before the entry deadline saying, I'm in. But we're, and so that's, you want to know why tournament directors don't get these draws out early. It's stuff like that.
Well, to your point of the in, I also hear that people enter after the fact. Why have a deadline? So whatever. I mean, for me, I remember vividly one year, I'm the number 1 seed at the U.S. Open, the year I broke my foot, 2001, and I broke it on a Sunday. The draws were out already for a week. They couldn't change the draw, and I stayed in there as the number 1 seed. So, I don't know. Whatever. Let's hear from more tournament directors on that one.
So, hey,
all right,
Blake
you ready
Lockwood.
To get right to the draw here, Todd?
Yeah, real quick. Blake Lockwood has a great question. Are all the divisions playing rally scoring? No. Only the U.S. national team qualifiers are playing rally scoring. Everybody else, and this will be this way for the future going forward, is playing regular old scoring, 2 games to 15, tiebreaker to 11. The reason that the national team qualifiers are playing the modified rules is because that's what they will be forced to play when they go to an international competition later this year.
Correct. Well said, Todd. Thanks for the question, Blake. And Noel responded. He says that a lot of games went the full distance, didn't see a difference in time. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens. It's interesting. Randy Root online. Love it. Got to say hello to the Tooth Goat. Randy, for those of you who don't know, you've all heard his name if you've ever watched my show. But Randy, I love it. Tired of seeing players put their hand up during a rally like there was no call. Yeah, that's kind of an old school hand up, roll the ball out, nothing said. But again, I guess that'll change the appeal rule too, right, Todd? How many times you put your hand up for a short serve or something, but you win the rally, you didn't appeal it, so now there's nothing to argue. So, all right, it's getting a little confusing. Randy, can't wait to be at your Supermax Slam next month, and I will be commentating. Todd, we talked about that earlier.
That'll be cool.
You had me way up on your list of favorite commentators. So
100%. Like for those of you who've not heard Sudsy on the mic broadcasting these matches, no, it's fantastic because you have a legendary, a historical player who also is a coach, and so within the rally and after each point, he can break down that rally like practically and nobody else in the country or in our sport, and that's what the value is for me. Like from a broadcaster, like when I broadcast, I try to bring in stats, what I do, what my background is. I'm a player, but I'm not Sudsy, and so that's what's cool about having a player like Sudsy doing the broadcast.
Well, thank you, Todd. And obviously Randy sees the value in that. So he brings me out every year. I appreciate that. It's going to be an awesome tournament, and I'll be a lot more to come on that one coming soon. All right, Todd, you ready?
Yeah.
So here, first off, I don't know if these are official, but they're officially unofficial. We put all this data into a big, massive computer. We came up with ranking points, and we came up with past champions, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. And this is what we believe really, really strongly will be the draws in the 5 divisions. Now, before I get to it, how the seeds are done, we're going to start, Todd, in the women's singles. Okay? Go ahead. Tell them how they're done, how the seeds in the singles are done versus how they're done in the doubles.
Okay, so single seeding is pulled directly from as of last Friday or as of the entry deadline. These seeds are driven by the rankings of these players directly from USA Racquetball's ranking site. If you go to USA Racquetball, click on rankings, you get to the searchable database, and you can see these seeds yourself by pulling. You can filter on US players only, female, indoor, singles. Boom, you can get a list of all US players and their ranking, and that dictates exactly what the seedings are that you see on the screen here.
All right, so that's the singles. But before we get to that, Todd, because we're going to come back to that and talk about this draw here. What I'd like you to do is tell everybody the difference in how they seed the doubles.
So the doubles is seeded kind of in an old school fashion for many years, and these seeding guidelines are still in place for many of the other divisions, where the number one seed of a division is the winner from last year's nationals if they enter, and then the number two seed is the finalist for that division from last year if they entered. That of course comes in. It takes into account if there is a winner from say like 35 and up who moves into the 40 and up, they will become the number two seed, knocking the people out. The whole point is that for many divisions at nationals, last year's results matter, and so that is the guideline by which we seed the doubles draws. The doubles draws, if there is a team that won last year or came in second or came in third, and they are still together, then they will be seeded as they finished last year.
All right. Now, to sum it up in layman's terms, yes. In singles, they do it on pure rankings year to date. That's how they do the seedings. In doubles, it's last year's results. You got me, everybody. I don't know why. I think that's something that the USA Team Committee, I think that would be the committee, Todd, needs to look at again. For instance, and we'll get to it, Alex and I have the most points in doubles, almost by a lot, but we're not the number one seed. We'll look at that later. Erica did not win national singles last year, but she is the number one seed. So anyway, I just think maybe a little less confusing and a little less worrying about let's go to 11, win by 2, rally score. You know, this is the silliness, Todd, that we gotta try to fix. So
look, I'll just say this. You know, who won Wimbledon singles last year? I don't even remember. You know, but are they guaranteed to be the number one seed this year? No, of course not.
Right. You know, it goes by ranking points.
They go by the ranking year after year after year. You know, and so that makes it simple. There's no worrying about
easy
what
cut
last
and dry.
year.
But I've always been a big proponent. You know this, and I know we disagree on this. I think. Well, unless we figure out a way to make it work, I think there should be a tournament committee that can make decisions in the best interest of the event. Now, what I mean is, Kane doesn't play 4 or 5 tournaments, and he shows up, and his seeding went to 16, and he plays the number one seed in the first round. I think that there should be some leeway there for a committee to make some decisions.
You know, on that topic, when Kane first had his big injury and he missed a big chunk of time, this was a couple of years back. You know, he dropped down to like 7 or 8, and it was a big discussion point. And we talked a lot about, hey, should we change the way that we do seedings? Should we use like a 2-year sample for seedings? Should we have the concept of a protected seed, you know, which they have in tennis? If you
just have a committee, make a decision in the best interest of the event. I mean, I know it's easier for sure to do this, but if somebody stands up, takes accountability, ownership, and responsibility, stands in front of everybody and says, I did this because of this. All right, it is what it is. All right, ready? Let's get to it. Women's singles first, Todd, go. All
right, so with all due respect to everyone ranked outside of the top 4 here, you know, the U.S. Women's sport right now has a clear-cut top 4 players, and they are your top 4 seeds here. The final from last year, Ronda defeated Kalani in the final, and they're set to meet possibly in the semis here. In the meantime, Erica Mania, who's had a fantastic year and has raced to be the number 1 ranked U.S. player, projects to play Holly Scott in the semis. We can talk about some of these other matches. I like the 8-9 match, 2 very young players, 2 up-and-comers in Naomi Ross and Annie Roberts. I love the 7-10 match. Similarly, another 2 pairing of very young up-and-coming players in Shane Diaz and Gracie Wargo. But I don't see any major upsets until we get to the semis here.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep it simple. I got the top 4 seeds advancing to the semis, and then we might differ there. Yeah. So you want to talk about that now?
Sure. So, all right, in the top semi, Erica versus Holly. I mean, what's your gut tell you right there?
I think Holly has the ability, especially with this rally scoring, to get super, super hot. And I think that's going to be the upset right there.
All right. So those 2 have played 4 times. That's their head-to-head.
Ooh.
4 times in my 4 times in my database.
2-2.
Erica leads 3-1. However, 2 of those matches were in juniors when they were both 16. as adults competing in adult events, they've met twice. They've split. Holly defeated Erica in the 2020 singles event at National Doubles in an 11-9 breaker. And then at the 2021 Nationals, Erica took Holly out 14-11 in the third place game. So how much were they really trying in the third place game? I don't know. But as adults, these two are pretty evenly matched. So I wouldn't be surprised if there was an upset here. I favor Erica here just because I think Erica, pound for pound is the better player.
Erica's playing amazing. She's the top ranked U.S. woman right now, and there's no doubt. I just think I think that's gonna be a great one. I think it's Holly's time to win a big match like that, and I'm predicting she'll be in the finals against one of my partners, Kalani Lawrence.
Yeah, I don't think there's any. So again, with all due respect to a clear, slam dunk first ballot Hall of Famer in Ronda, Kalani has really taken a step up in the last couple of years and has dominated their head-to-heads recently. After losing to Ronda the first 7 or 8 times that they played, Kalani has won their last 3 matchups, including last week at the most recent Pro Tour event, where she beat Ronda 0-9 in the round in South Carolina. Kalani is really playing well herself. I think that a Kalani-Erica match in the final would be fantastic. I think a Kalani-Holly match would be pretty fantastic. So we're in store for a really compelling final either way.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great. I think there's it could be any 3, any 4 of those, even like Veronica was saying, Ronda rally scoring. Ronda can easily get hot and be Ronda. And next thing you know, she wins another one. Wouldn't shock me. So I think it'll be great. We're not going to pick the winners, Todd. We're just kind of discussing that. So that's the women's draw right there. And we are going to move on to the men's singles draw. Todd, you ready?
Men's. Let's talk about men's.
All right. There you have it right there.
So interestingly, even given what we were just talking about with protected seeds, as it turns out, the final last year was Carson over Landa, and they are ranked 1 and 2. So there's no argument here, or there's no difference in seeding method. But we do see some interesting seeds here, based on what we've seen, players doing as of late. Specifically Bobby Horn, who's kind of been absent from the Pro Tour for a while, is still up there as the number 4 seed.
I mean, yeah, Bobby's always going to be around. He's always going to be difficult to deal with. He's a tough out for anyone. Again, in this, Todd, jumping right through it, Rocky 1, Alex 2, Jake 3, Bobby 4. To me, the most exciting matchup, or the one I'll potentially watch, with some entertainment, besides always, of course, supporting my partner and watching him, because me, I go rest when I'm not playing, got to keep the legs fresh and the mind, is the Mania and Horn quarterfinal. But I think Rocky's going to get through there to that semi. I think Alex will get through. I think Jake will get through. So you got the top 3 seeds. And I tell you right now, I'm with you on that one. I think the Mania Horn is a good one. They're doubles partners. Will that come into play? I don't think so. They're also business partners. So I think that's a really good one, fun one to watch for sure for everyone.
Yeah, I will point out that sorry, Suds.
Do you want to see that again?
Yeah. I wanted to point out there's a couple of upset watches here. I know we're not predicting, but I like the 8-9 match there. I like the underdog in the 8-9 match. Robbie is a pretty solid veteran pro, but Nick can get wins. I like the 7-10. Danny Lavalley is a tough player. He's much better than a 10 seed, and I think he can get an upset there. Can the Florida youngster Zamudio take out Tom Carter? I don't think so, but that's one to take a look at. So that there's some compelling first round matches here, which is what you like to see. You don't like to just see chalk all the way to the semis.
Yeah, if that number 12, as Jordan Walters says, is Mitch Williams, the Mitch Williams. Yeah, I mean, just for fun, I'd probably pick Mitch too, but I'm pretty sure it's not. If it is, that's an oversight, huh?
Yeah, no, that's Zach Williams from Texas.
Yes.
When do you think the last time Mitch Williams picked up a racket was? Has anybody heard from him lately?
I bet you Brent
Yeah,
Walters. I'm sorry, because he had a bum shoulder, so
yeah,
we'll see.
yeah.
All right, so there's the men's again. I'm going, man. That 4-5 is interesting to me. Um, I see the kid Ben Horner playing Bobby Horn, but he's not ready to win that. I agree with you. I think Collins beats Riffle, even though Riffle's rocking a cool mustache. Um, no surprises here. I got the top. I'm going, woof. I don't know about that one. I'm going top 3 and 4.5.
There you go.
See, what do you got?
Interestingly, if Mania makes it to the semi,
Yeah.
he has a win over Carson. That could be something to take a look for. For an upset to the final, like George DeWelby just noted. I think a 2-3 matchup between Landa and Jake in the semis is probably not something that Jake's going to be able to win right now. And then what's interesting about the final of both men's and women's singles, there's one thing
I'm
to
glad
win.
you're bringing this up.
Say what?
I'm glad you're bringing this up.
Yeah. So I don't want to accuse anybody of anything, but once two competitors make the final of the U.S. Nationals, they're both on the team. Okay. And so last year we saw Rocky and Landa at a point where Landa was the number one player on the tour, and Rocky steamrolled him in the final. Now, was Landa playing his all out? Was his goal to make the team and not necessarily to win the national title? I don't know.
How do we fix that? I mean, yeah, I know what you're saying. Basically, what you're saying is once you get to the finals in the singles, you're both guaranteed a spot on the team. I tell you, one of the things I did in Ecuador, I actually rewrote the system. I said that the top 4 are on the team. So you have a spot, you're on the team. And then the coach decides outside of the winner who travels to the international events.
Oh, wow.
I mean, listen, it usually played out. Those were your best players anyway.
Yeah.
But I think that would be interesting because, yeah, unfortunately, especially, man, these guys are playing 3 divisions, except
Yeah.
Rocky, I saw that. He was pretty smart. These other guys are playing 3. I'm not playing singles, but I'm not, I'm talking about the guys that are in singles. All those other top seeds are playing 3 divisions. Rocky's the only one who's not.
Yeah.
So could be a factor. We'll see. I doubt it.
Yeah, well, in a compressed event, so it's Saturday finals for doubles, right?
Yeah, Saturday mixed and regular doubles finals. Sunday are only singles.
So that's a pretty compressed match. If you're playing singles and doubles, and you're playing a third division, I mean, they're looking at 3 matches a day, Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
How about it? I hope they all battle their butts off.
Yeah.
And go crazy. All right, let's take a 20-second break, Todd, and then we'll come back with some doubles.
All right.
Don't move. 20 seconds. I got to show love to the people that are making sure that I can get to national doubles and get to these events and that support me doing this stuff. There's so many bills and people don't realize, expenses doing all this stuff. Even just subscribing to monthly things to have all access. And it's pretty wild. But
hey, real quick, I wanted to shout out a question from Jordan Walters. We've got both the Walters brothers. I don't think that they're sitting next to each other.
Which one was it? Which question, Todd?
So this is a question he's asked, a legitimate question, because when we were talking about rule changes, how will USA Racquetball manage all these rule changes in real time? Have they sought feedback from the members? Seems difficult for referees to keep up with rule changes when they're changed so often. So I will say this. The rule changes that we're talking about, where we're going from 15 to 11 and the appeal thing, that's not USA Racquetball, okay? If USA Racquetball had its druthers, we wouldn't have made a single rule change. This is the IRF making changes to their competitions, and then USA Racquetball made the decision to have our national team competitions follow those rules so that the players can get used to it. Same reason you want to play with the same ball, or you may want to try to train at the same elevation that you're going to eventually go to at an international event. We want our players to play by those rules. That being said, the USA Racquetball does have a rule change process, and it's actually kind of timely because if you want to put in a rules change suggestion, you have to put that rule change in by the end of this month. And then the cycle goes through, and the national rules coordinator, whose name is Dan Horner, who also helps with the tournament seating. So he's been busy working on that for several weeks now. we'll consider rule changes, and then that will go into a kind of a committee where we talk about it, and then talk about actually enacting a rule change officially to the rule book. But so I hope that kind of explained what's going on there. As far as feedback from our members, we're always looking for feedback, especially for real official rule changes. And there's some interesting tweaks that I've seen that have been resultant of conversations that have happened in social media, where we're going to try to make a couple of clarifications in the rule book to address some places where there's a little gray area.
Yeah, I mean, ultimately, hopefully there's not too much gray area, but we know, refereeing is already the most difficult job there is out there. And it's no fun for anyone, but somebody's got to do it. So we'll see. All right, let's get to a doubles.
All right, let's talk about doubles.
Let's see which one I click here. I don't know which one that is. Whoop. That's the women's doubles. You want to do that one first?
Yeah, let's talk about women's doubles.
Women's doubles. There it is.
So, interestingly, so we talked about how they seed the doubles events, and then we immediately get to a draw where it didn't matter because the team that won it last year, which was Rhonda playing with Erica Mania, they split up. So there was no champion to anoint and give the number 1 seed to. So instead, those players split up. Rhonda's playing with Cheryl this year. They get the number 2 seed. The way that these seeds are done is by taking the seeds. They go to you can go to the USA rankings right now, go to women's indoor doubles, and then filter on USA only. And then we take the partners, the rankings, the 2 partners, and average them. And then that's how we come up with the seeds. So if you have one partner, so a good example of this might be the number 5 team, Lexi York and Michelle De La Rosa. Lexi York's doubles ranking is really high, but then Michelle De La Rosa's indoor doubles ranking is really low. She's very high. She's the number 1 ranked outdoor doubles female player, but her indoor ranking is pretty low. So when you average those 2 together, it dropped them down to a number 5 seed below for the number 4 seed, which are 2 younger players who, I think just looking at this right now, I would think that the 2 more experienced players are going to win that 4-5 matchup.
Yeah, I mean, my quick one here is, again, I'm going to go with Holly Scott, Kalani Lawrence on top. I'm going with Rhonda and Cheryl Lotzi. I'm going with Mania and Roller, although I think it'll be fun for Ross and Diaz. I think it's ROS, not 2 S's, but I think that's going to be fun and interesting. And hey, you youngsters, if you're watching, just ball and ball hard. You just never know. Go play hard from start to finish, and good things happen. And if nothing else, make sure that those veterans remember who you are and remember exactly the way you went out there with that effort. So whatever happens there, good luck. York De La Rosa, I think, is going to take out the number 4 there, Roberts Conchola. And, it'll set up for a nice Final Four. But, Todd, once again, it gets me back to, we're just doing the 2 U.S. team qualifiers seeding and placement different. And it just makes for confusion. So can I publicly say to you, can somebody at the committee look at that and say maybe it's time for a rule change, or I don't know, maybe do the rankings and the seedings the same or not? You tell me. Maybe it's the best way.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree. I think that I'll say this. Last year there was a little bit of controversy with the way that the national doubles tournament was seeded, right? And the reason for that is because
what was the controversy? Without being super.
The controversy was this: that we didn't trust our doubles rankings at that point. So instead of relying on doubles rankings that we were still working on, we basically said to the tournament director, you can seed this based on your opinion. And then what happened was, unfortunately though, some guidance had been sent out to the U.S. team qualifiers, or the U.S. team competitors, that no, we weren't going to allow the tournament director to seed based on opinion. We were going to follow the points. So there was a mix-up in communication. That was essentially what happened last year.
What was the proper? Was it the points or the team? Like,
it wasn't so much about, for me, just pick a direction and go with it. Okay. It was like,
I agree.
It was like what you were saying before.
Say, this is what we're doing and why we're doing it.
Yeah, it's exactly what you said before. If you're going to say, let the tournament director seed this based on their opinion with some input from some key people, which is basically the way that Nationals was seeded for the first 40 some odd years of its existence, then fine. Communicate that. And then if players have a problem with it, they know exactly who number to call, right? If you have a point system and that's going to drive everything, then abide by the point system. You said we've invested a lot of time and resources into these points, and now I think that they're pretty solid. So let's just go by them, right? And maybe we'll do that for next year.
Who knows, man? it bugs me talking about it. All right. So one last time, there's the women's. Take a look at it.
So look, hey,
I got a contest to announce, by the way, Todd. But should I do it now or after?
Yeah.
I'll do it now, so everybody knows.
Yeah.
So here's the deal: pick all 5 winners. Comment here, all 5 winners. Okay.
Ooh.
Get them all right. Your tiebreaker is total points scored in the final of the mixed doubles in the U.S. team qualifier. And if you win and get all 5 right, you get them, and you are the closest with the points, I will pay your second entry fee at the USA Nationals. All right? How about that? Todd, I might make you go halves on that. I haven't decided yet, but I'll get back to you on that.
Sounds good.
All right? So that's the deal. I'll post it again. All right? You pick all 5, and you get closest to the total points in the mixed double final, and we're going to pay your second entry fee at National Doubles. There you go. Something interactive.
I like it.
Last time on the women's, Todd?
Yeah. Hey, look, this draw, Scott Lawrence are ranked 1, number 2 in women's doubles. That's a juggernaut team. They're going to be tough to beat.
They are my pick to win it. They've been playing great. They've been playing amazing out on tour. They've pushed the best teams in the world. So let's see what happens. All right. Let's get to the next draw. Here is the men's doubles.
Yeah. So here's where the seeding comes into play, because last year's national doubles final was Carson and Pratt over the Bredenbeck brothers. And so they get the 1 and 2 seeds over Monchik and Landa, who by rankings are the number 1 and number 2 players in the country. So I don't have to necessarily ask what your thoughts are on this.
My thoughts personally?
Yeah. Or I can ask you what your thoughts are. I mean, look, if we were going by rankings, you guys would be the number 1 seed, and you would have, the number 1 seed always has an easier path to get to the back end of a tournament, and so rankings and seedings do matter.
Yeah. I honestly, though, Todd, I mean, I'll get back onto that draw. It's not just about that. It's just what makes sense. And I don't care if we're the number 1 seed. I do care. I don't care, if we're 1 or 8, but make it make sense to me. Don't tell me we're the highest, we have the highest amount of points. And oh, by the way, the last time we were in this event, we won it. And then we're seeded 3rd. Now, again, these are the rules. This isn't, I can tell you right now, whoever's doing these draws is just following the rules. There's no discretion in this. So he's doing a great thing. And to add to the contest, I got a text. All right. Not only will I pay for your second division at U.S. National Doubles if you win the contest, but Jim Heiser will give you the first division entry paid in the World Singles and Doubles in Colorado the next time that event happens. So I'll put something together and I'll post it so everybody knows exactly. But make sure you get your picks in ASAP.
I like
so that. Let's get back to this, Todd, and then continue. So yeah. I don't. It is what it is. I mean, it's a bunch of tough teams, tough players. You got to go win.
Yeah. Hey, look, I wanted to call out, we have some new names here that some of our national sport followers may not have heard, and Den and Saraceno, and then Jimmy Fernandez, and I can't remember Blanco's first name. I apologize. But these are players that don't always enter enter these top level events. And so bravo for playing. And I hope you take some points off of Carson and Pratt. But I think looking at this draw, I like the 3-6 matchup here. I like, Weregan and Miller. Those are 2 East Coast guys that have played together a lot, and they like to talk on the court, so to speak.
I think people talk less depending on who their opponents are, though. It's kind of a thing.
Yeah, Daniel Blanco. Thank you, Mr. Hale. I like the 2-7 matchup here. So interestingly, Jose Diaz is a very accomplished doubles player. I believe he's got a national title to his credit, which he won with Jake a few years back. He's playing with Timmy Hansen, the son of Hall of Famer Tim Hansen. Oh, by the way, Tim and Timmy are entered together and playing open doubles together, I believe, in this event. So that
That's
should be kind
cool.
of fun. You know, there should be I like the father-son teams. That's I wonder how the communication goes on the court though, you know. But I like that 2-7 matchup. That's an upset potential for me. What do you think?
Yeah, I think that could be. I think if anything, Diaz he's scrappy, knows how to win, knows how to manage points and games. This rally scoring is a little different. I still think Jake and Sam, they've been playing so much together, as
Yeah.
more than any team in this draw. You look at all
Yeah.
the teams, they've played together more than anyone.
Yeah.
How much does that come into play? I don't know. I guess we'll see. Carson and Pratt, I think they'll come out of that court. I'll tell you right now, I think Horn and Mania are going to be difficult to deal with. I think they'll get by Riffle and Carter, and then
Yeah.
I think Carson and Pratt are going to have a tough, fun one to deal with there. And
Yep.
we'll see. We'll see. It's going to be interesting though. So one last time on the men's doubles draw for everybody.
Let me ask you a question, Sudsy. When you're predicting doubles draws,
yeah,
what's your go-to? What's your gut? What is your gut feeling when you look at two teams? Like, what's the first thing you look at to make if you had to immediately get a like a quick prediction? What are you looking at?
The best and weakest player on the court.
Best court. Yeah, fair enough.
That's the way I see it. Where's the best? Where's the weakest? And again, at this level, everybody's so close, and there's not. But again, you can call it how you want to call it. You can, but there is different levels. I mean,
Yeah.
It is what it is. So, all right, Todd, 20 seconds. Be right back. Is that cool?
All right.
All right, don't move. 20 seconds, and we're going to come back with what you and I both agree is probably the most compelling draw of all the U.S. team qualifiers, and that's the mixed. So we'll be right back. Don't move. So we exist. Racquetball is an amazing sport. It helps you obviously physically and mentally, but it helps you in life in general. And definitely say that you should all go play.
Play racquetball.
Jules told everybody, go play racquetball. So make sure you go play racquetball.
I like
right.
that. That's great.
All right, let's now get to the mixed doubles, which everybody is waiting for, Todd Boss.
Yeah, we made him wait to the end for this.
Here it is. Take us through it.
All right, so even though it's a doubles draw and it's supposed to be seeded by who won it last year, guess what? There was no last year. This is great. This is the one of the reasons it's so compelling is because we just have no idea what's going to happen here. Well, we have an opinion about what's going to happen, but what's cool is that we have players that rarely play mixed doubles, and now they're all playing with a chance to qualify for the team and to compete internationally at events later this year. That's what's compelling about this for me. How about for you?
I think it's just cool, interesting, fun, different. Can't wait to see how, all these great ladies prepare and how they deal with a bunch of bombs coming across court, back and forth, down the lines, drive serves. Interested to see how the guys deal with it. Do they pick on the women? Do the men, or do the women pick on some men? Let's be honest. There's some great players in there. They know what they're doing. I think it's going to be fun. I think that to do the seedings in this, Todd, I don't know if you want to get into explaining that. Again, I'm just going to say, I don't care. It seems difficult enough. It looks pretty solid to me. I'm okay with that. Whatever. Let's just try to make sure next year we have exactly how we got the seeds put together. Does that sound good?
Sure. So I'll tell you how this got seeded. So there are mixed doubles rankings on USARacquetball.com. But because there's so little mixed doubles experience to draw from, if you look at some of these players, you can count on one hand the number of times they've played a mixed doubles match in the last 3 years. So what we did is because of that lack of data, because of that lack of data, the mixed doubles rankings is partly based on actual mixed results, and then it's partly based on your doubles ranking. And I'll give you a really good example there. If you go look in the mixed doubles rankings right now, like Kane Wozlenchuk I think he's ranked 17th or something like that.
How? He's never played mixed doubles.
Exactly. But that's the whole point, right? If I stuck Kane on a mixed court with practically any other female, you'd probably rate him and favor him to win because he's such a dominant doubles player when he does play men's doubles. So that's why. So that's a combination. So he gets partly of his men's doubles or his gender doubles and part of his mixed doubles experience, which is none. And he ends up with a ranking that's still top 20. So it doesn't bury him in the 500s, but it still puts him up pretty high. So if I go through and I look at these players, as the number 1 seed is Landa and De La Rosa, those two coincidentally are the number 1 ranked mixed doubles players for both men and women. So it's 1-1. So this is a clear number 1. Number 2, Erica and Adam, those two are also number 2. Each of them is number 2 in mixed doubles rankings by themselves. Now, if you had asked me, and I'm not saying this because I'm on your Facebook live stream here, but if you had asked me to power rank these teams, I would not have put Landon De La Rosa or Minia as my top ranked power ranking team. I would have put Sudsy Monchik and Kalani Lawrence because I think that Kalani is probably, if not the best female doubles player in the land, then she's close to it. And you, of course, are right there as well. So that's what's going to make this a really compelling match, is because a lot of neutrals are looking at this draw, and
I might send you stars for that. Can I send you
send me some stars? Yeah, I need a couple quarters. I got to go, make a phone call.
Isn't it funny? Let's talk about that real quick before we get back to the mixed doubles draw. It's really nice when people send stars, but I don't think people really know what the value is, right? Isn't it like 100 stars is like 10 cents? Is that accurate?
I don't know. We can ask the hive mind.
My Venmo is at Sudsy M. So let's go back to this mixed draw, Todd. Go ahead.
All right, so that's what I like this because even the lower seeds. I mean, look at number 7 seed Rhonda and Jose Diaz. Those are two players that have been playing doubles for a long time. The number 8 seed is Jake and Amy Roller. Amy Roller has like 13 national doubles titles to her credit. She's obviously coming off of a bit of an illness, but she's playing with Jake, who is going to be bombing the ball there, and that's not the easiest 1-8 matchup that Landa and De La Rosa have ever thought about.
No, I agree. I think it's pretty interesting. It's cool. I could tell you, for me, when I heard this came out, I was excited at the thought of playing with my wife, and then I realized, well, we're both left side players, and neither one of us has residency in the other country. So here we are. And in Vero Beach, when Kalani, as soon as I saw her, she said, hey, this was in January. How do I say no? Right? I mean, she's like, do you want to play mixed together? And I think it took me less than 2 seconds. I think I said, sure. And I put the hand out and said, we're in. So yeah, it's going to be exciting. I think it's a fun draw. Look at that. Some good teams, some good players. Yeah. That team from Florida, Zamudio and Wargo, they play together often. That's also a lefty righty. So interesting there. You're going to have 2, I believe, ladies on the left side and the 2 men on the right side. And then after that, I don't see that happening anywhere else. So it's going to be interesting, Todd. What do you want to do a couple picks there on that one for everybody? Go ahead. Or get us to the semis like we've been, or whatever you want.
I hate to say chalk, but I think I see it chalk your top 4 teams to the semis. I don't think Diaz and Racquetball are going to trouble the Menias. I don't think that Pratt and Lotz are really going to press Horn and Scott, to be honest. Just because of the disparity of Lotz and Scott going at each other on the right hand side. Where it gets interesting for me is in that semi. Michelle De La Rosa is a fantastic doubles player, but Holly Scott more than holds her own on that right side, and that could spell trouble for the number 1 team. In the meantime, down here at the bottom, what's interesting is that Sudsy, you're going to be going against Adam Mania on his forehand. As you go to return serves, and so your big strategy, I'll just set you up for this, but you don't have to answer if you don't want to give away your some state secrets, but you have to be thinking about how am I going to try to return a drive serve? How am I going to try to drive action? Am I going to try to drive the ball over to the right hand side and force awkward shots? These are kind of the mixed doubles strategy points.
You know what? We're going to get out there and play. I'll tell you right now, as a team, I'm going to let my partner play. Phenomenal athlete, arguably the best female in the States right now. Kalani knows how to win, tons of experience. So our team is going to be a simple approach. Go score more points than the other. Go win more points, more rallies. Work hard. Don't be, be aggressive, and figure it out. Let's make it happen. And we're there to do one thing. I'm a little disappointed. I'm leaving tomorrow, and I'm not leaving with my family. I have to go play this event. So I'm there to win. I'm not there to hang out and see College Station or, take selfies with everybody. I want to just go compete, and hopefully that will rub off onto my opponent, which I know she does, and I know she likes to. And Alex, I don't have to tell you anything about that. What his competitiveness. I'll tell you this though, before we got in the air, I was on the phone with one of my partners discussing outfits and clothing and colors. You want to take a stab at who that was?
And it had to be Alex.
Well, naturally, no, it was Kalani. So she did ask. She said, "Do I have a pink shirt, a purple?" And I'm not going to tell you all what we're wearing, but that's all we did. And I got to be honest, Todd, I am super OCD about all that stuff. I have every outfit, every match set out and laid out. So I told her, I said, "Hey, this is in your hands." Yeah, she's laughing now. I said, "Kalani, this is in your hands. You just tell me what I'm wearing and I'll make it happen." And I'm not going to lie. I actually had to order a shirt while we were texting right before the show.
I think you guys should show up in, I remember in Rocky when the boxer shows up and he's got the top hat and the whole Stars and Stripes outfit.
How do you know we're not?
I think you guys should go Stars and Stripes. So you just wear nothing but stars, and Kalani wears nothing but stripes.
Tell Kalani we can make that happen. So, all right, Todd. I mean, we're through it. Let's show everybody the draws real quick one more time. Todd, give me a little 10-second blurb of each one. Go ahead.
All right. Your top four are probably making the semis, and then there's some coin flips here between players that play each other an awful lot in the back end of U.S. Nationals.
Men's.
I like a repeat of last year's final, but there's a number of names in here that could surprise, not up to and including Danny Lavalley, who is rarely seen indoors anyways, and could make for some trouble in that quarter. The dominant team, Scott and Lawrence are a freight train here. It might be a better question is to ask whether or not someone can even take a game off them in this draw.
Yeah, that's my thing. I'm going to be on them about, I have so many friends in there, but I just think they're that good, and I think that I wouldn't be surprised if they don't lose a game.
Yeah. I like the fact that Sudsy and Landa, who are the 2020 champs, are on the opposite side of the 2021 champs, Carson Pratt. That gives us a nice, the ability to have a nice, kind of rubber match final if the results hold as we think that they're going to hold.
We played them in 2020. Don't forget, in the semis.
That's right, you did.
And the one that we think is most compelling.
A lot of really good teams here. A lot of teams that don't get to play with each other a lot. It's hard to totally predict this. I have some thoughts.
Give me your final.
I'm thinking. I think your finals: Landa Delosa versus Monchik and Lawrence. And
I'm not sending you any more stars. Stop saying nice things about us.
Someone's going to be shooting for the double on the weekend. Let's just say that.
Hey. There might be a couple shooting for the triple there, if that's the case. But Todd, that was fun. I always appreciate it. Thank you for joining me. It's super important. One last time, I just want to say to Kyle Smith, a fellow racquetball player out of Texas, you'll be missed, and hopefully you're playing some ball up there. Todd, always a pleasure. Great to be talking to you and going through this. There's nobody better with the data, and it's data. And for those of you that don't know why it is data, go watch Goonies, all right? And you'll see it's data, and you'll see the truffle shuffle and chunk, and you'll have a good time. It was one of those movies that brings back some good memories. We won't talk about that. So, Todd, maybe you'll join me. I'm going to be pretty active. Let's touch on this too. There was a question about why Leo was not broadcasting, and he told me, and at the end of the day, it was just about money. They wanted to go in a different direction, and they're not bringing them out. And so there you have it. That's why Leo is not going to be broadcasting out there. But guess what, Todd? He might hold my device and go live with some of my matches.
Oh, I like that.
And maybe we'll put a speaker on. I told him he can get right up in us. And if your point, if Troy and Maurice want to talk a lot, maybe we could put the mic on those guys while we
Oh
play.
man, remember back in the day when you used to put those mic packs on while you guys
Oh,
played?
I do. It was like a brick in your back.
So, man, maybe you guys can dig those things up from Doug Gannum's garage?
No, that was ESPN. I remember when they told us to wear those, and we were like, seriously? And we all did. And I think Cliff landed on one series. True story. I think he did, and I think he hurt his back.
Oh.
And yeah, no fun. We won't be doing that anymore. So, Todd, any final thoughts? Nationals, couple days.
No, Nationals is here. These are great. Really, these are big draws. There's a lot of people playing, and you can't ask, as a neutral and a fan, you can't ask for anything more.
Well, Todd, thank you. And with that, don't forget, everybody, put in your 5 picks. You got to pick all 5 right, and then your tiebreaker will be the total points in the finals of the mixed doubles. That's for a chance to win your first division entry fee paid at the World Singles and Doubles, the Jim Heiser event in Colorado when that happens. And for this event, if you get it right, and like I said, Todd, I'm probably going to make you pay half. We're going to pay your second entry fee here at the Nationals next week. So get it out there, put it right down there, comment all your picks. It'll be a lot of fun. Hopefully you can enjoy. So Todd, thank you again. Thank you to my sponsors that are helping me to make sure that I can get to Nationals. Of course, that's Mark Frank, Mike Courier, Angel Cabrera, and of course, Sal and Deep Perconti always in my corner. Appreciate that like crazy. To you players and fans, can't wait to hit the ball in front of you. Can't wait to play my ass off. Can't wait to do everything possible to inspire and motivate you to want to go play, to want to go win, because that's what I'm going to do there. I'm sorry if you're not going to see too many selfies of me laughing and eating good food and downtown. I'm going to win some gold medals. If that doesn't happen, get back to work and we'll reassess and see what goes on from there. Veronica, thank you. None of this happens without you. I love you. I wish more than you know that you guys could all come. Todd, I've been asking her. Let's get in the car. I'll start driving right now. It's just not easy with a 2 and 4 year old.
No.
I was upgraded to first class already, and I'm like, I'll give it up. I'll drive down to Texas. No big deal. But anyway, everyone, thank you again. Share the feed, spread the love, get racquetball out there, and we will see you again soon. Have an amazing, amazing night. Good luck to everybody at the Nationals, including all of my competitors.